Welcome back to the show, everyone. Today we are diving deep into the seismic shift hitting the combat sports world. Dana White is back in the boxing business, and he is not playing nice. After years of teasing a move into the sweet science, the Zuffa Boxing brand is finally mobilizing. But it's not just about putting on fights, it's about a total structural overhaul. Dana is looking at the current landscape and seeing a broken system. He wants to bring the UFC efficiency to the ring. The buzz is real, but so is the skepticism. Can the man who built an MMA empire actually navigate the convoluted politics of world boxing? We are looking at a potential revolution or a massive collision course. Buckle up, because the Zuffa era of boxing is officially upon us, and the stakes have never been higher for the athletes involved. Right at the center of the storm is the IBF, the International Boxing Federation. Known for being the most rigid and strict sanctioning body, they have sparked a massive standoff. While the fans want the biggest fights, the IBF is notorious for enforcing mandatory challengers at the most inconvenient times. We are seeing champions being stripped of titles because they want to chase legacy fights instead of fighting the IBF's #1 contender. This IBF title standoff is exactly what Dana White hates about boxing. It creates a fragmented landscape where the best don't always fight the best because of a plastic belt and a rulebook. This standoff is the catalyst for why Zuffa Boxing wants to bypass the current sanctioning bodies entirely and create their own unified ranking system. It is a battle of tradition versus disruption. Let's look at the ground zero of this chaos, the welterweight division. Specifically, the situation with Jaron Boots Ennis. He is a generational talent, but he's caught in the middle of these promotional and sanctioning wars. When you have a talent like Ennis, and the IBF demands he fights a mandatory that no one has heard of instead of a cross-promotional super fight, boxing loses. Dana White has pointed to the specific chaos as the reason why boxing is failing the athletes. The fans are frustrated, the fighters are losing their prime years, and the promoters are stuck in litigation. The IBF's refusal to budge on their 35-day negotiation windows and strict rotation is turning the 147-pound gold mine into a wasteland of vacated titles. This is the chaos that Zuffa Boxing claims it can fix with a central authority. So, what is the UFC model Dana keeps talking about? In the UFC, there's one champion per weight class. There are clear rankings. If you are #1, you fight the champion. Period. Dana wants to implement this one champion philosophy into boxing. No more super, regular, or interim IBF, WBC, WBA, and WBO titles cluttering the space. He wants to consolidate the power. For the athletes, this means more frequent fights and a clearer path to the top. For the fans, it means clarity. But to do this, he has to break the stranglehold that the current sanctioning bodies have. He is essentially trying to become the NFL of boxing. It's a 100% control model. If he succeeds, the IBF standoff becomes irrelevant because the Zuffa belt would be the only one that truly matters to the public. You can't talk about boxing without the promoters. Guys like Eddie Hearn and Al Heyman have been running the show for years. Now, Dana White is stepping onto their turf. The tension is palpable. Eddie Hearn has been vocal about the IBF strictness, but he's also wary of Dana's Zuffa Boxing taking over the market share. This isn't just a title standoff, it's a war for the future of sports media rights. If Dana White can lure the top talent away from Matchroom or PBC by promising more consistency, the entire hierarchy of boxing shifts. We are seeing a standoff between the old guard, who profit from the current chaos, and the new disruptor, who wants to streamline the carnage into a corporate machine. The legal battles ahead will be just as fierce as the ones in the ring. For the athletes, this standoff is a double-edged sword. On one hand, the IBF's rules ensure that mandatory challengers eventually get their shot, preventing champions from ducking opponents forever. On the other hand, it often forces fighters into low-reward, high-risk matches that stall their careers. Fighters like Terence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez have felt the pressure of these sanctioning bodies. If Zuffa Boxing offers a league format, athletes might trade their independent contractor freedom for the stability of a season-based schedule. It's about the technical insights. Knowing how to train when you don't have a fight date for 12 months is impossible. Dana's promise is 3 to 4 fights a year for top guys. That is a game changer for fitness, rhythm, and bank accounts. It is not all smooth sailing for Dana. Boxing is governed by the Muhammad Ali Boxing Reform Act, something the UFC doesn't have to deal with in the same way. This federal law is designed to protect fighters from coercive contracts and firewalls the roles of promoter and manager. If Dana White tries to run boxing exactly like the UFC, he will hit a wall of federal regulations. The IBF standoff is just the tip of the iceberg. To truly implement Zuffa Boxing, he has to navigate the Ali Act while maintaining his vision. This is where the chaos really lives, in the fine print of US law. If he can find a loophole or work within the system to provide the same big fight feel, he wins. If not, Zuffa Boxing might just be another failed attempt at fixing the unfixable. So, where do we go from here? The IBF title standoff has exposed the cracks in boxing's foundation, and Dana White is ready to pour the concrete. In the coming months, we expect major announcements regarding the first Zuffa Boxing cards. Will the fighters jump ship? Will the IBF soften its stance to stay relevant? One thing is for sure, the sweet science hasn't been this exciting behind the scenes in decades. Whether you are a fan of the traditional 12-round wars or the high-octane UFC production, this merger of mentalities is going to change sports history. Stay tuned to the channel for more technical insights as we watch this chaos unfold. The standoff is just the beginning. The real fight starts when the first Zuffa bell rings. Thanks for listening.